Welcome back. I'm the Dynasty Football Strategist. This is the second video in the 2024 Prospect Profile series. In the first video, we covered Marvin Harrison Jr., my wide receiver 1 of the rookie class. In this video, we cover Malik Nabers, my wide receiver 2. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you. With that being said, let's get into the video. My wide receiver 2 in the rookie class is Malik Nabers, wide receiver for the New York Giants. He was picked in round 1, picked 6th overall. He is 20 years old, set to turn 21 in this next month. He's an early declare as he was a junior this past year. He's 6 foot even, which is in the 36th percentile among college prospects, while being 200 pounds, which is in the 46th percentile among college prospects, but possesses 9 7/8 inch hands, which is in the 72nd percentile among college prospects. In any other wide receiver class, Malik Nabers would be the wide receiver 1 hands down. He is an explosive playmaker on all 3 levels of the field with elite agility, acceleration, and top-end speed. Malik Nabers is a playmaker of all playmakers, and you're going to see why in the film following this. Let's get into some stats here. In 2021, in his freshman year, he had 28 receptions for 417 yards and 4 touchdowns. This was while playing with Kayshon Boutte, who was a highly regarded prospect coming out before he flamed out in the NFL, and his teammate Brian Thomas, who was a rookie in this year's class as well. Brian Thomas was rated higher coming out, so Malik Nabers had to work his way up the depth chart, which makes it that much more impressive that he contributed in his freshman year. In his sophomore season, he broke out in a big way. He had 72 receptions for 1,017 yards and 3 touchdowns. The difference was having Jaden Daniels at the helm, who was picked 2nd overall by the Commanders this year. In 2023, he really broke out, with 89 receptions for 1,569 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns. So, what do industry leaders think of Malik Nabers? Well, NFL.com's Lance Zierlein gave him a 6.86 prospect grade, which is a year 1 starter. That's actually a grade that's above Marvin Harrison Jr. That should tell you everything you need to know about Malik Nabers and the immense potential he has. CBS Sports' Dave Richard also gave him a 93.57 grade, which is an all-pro grade. Malik Nabers is in some elite company as a prospect, and he has big shoes to fill, but he definitely has the potential to fill those shoes. So now that we've gone through Malik Nabers' measurables and what the industry leaders think about him, let's look at the film and see what the tape tells us. So first we're going to take a look at Malik Nabers' deep route running. Here against Alabama's Malik Nabers, he beats him on the sideline for a streak, and notice the toe tap he gets in. What makes it all the more impressive is that he's able to do this while running 20 plus miles an hour down the field as well. And if beating Malik Nabers once wasn't enough, watch as he beats him from the slot with a streak. And pay attention to the separation he's able to gain and how he's able to pull away from him. He has elite speed. Here, Malik Nabers is running a double move from the slot against quarters, and watch as he roasts the safety. You're going to notice a recurring theme here with that. Notice the exaggerated movements that Nabers uses to get the safety to bite. That's a recurring theme here, and he's amazing at that. One thing about Malik Nabers is he is the best I've ever seen at running the slot fade. Look at how he roasts the cornerback here. Here he's running a double move. Notice the stutter step and blow by the defender, and if it weren't for a really poorly thrown ball, this is a walk-in touchdown for him. Here Malik Nabers is running a slot fade again. Notice how he's able to show late hands, and he's able to track the ball without giving away when the ball's coming to him. It's also a great example of him contorting his body to make a difficult catch, which is littered throughout his film. Here, Nabers is running an out route. Notice how he's able to decelerate quickly and get both feet in. Now we get to Malik Nabers' most elite trait, his yards after the catch ability. He has some filthy juke moves, tough yards after contact catches. This guy is amazing. And notice how the first thing he does after he catches the ball is square up to be able to assess where the defense is and where he can attack the defense. And because teams are so afraid of him going deep, he's able to stop here, and notice how in one fluid motion he's able to run through all of the defense here. Here, he catches a flat route, turns the corner, and barely gets touched. Look at the acceleration. This is absolutely ridiculous stuff. Here, he gets a short out route, spins around the defender, and shows his elite agility as well. That's one thing I haven't mentioned yet. He has elite agility and change of direction skills. And note the filthy juke move right there. Notice after he turns here, he turns speed into power. He is a powerful wide receiver for being 6 foot 200 pounds. And he's so quick to react. That's how he's able to get so much yak in these situations. He has no hesitation with any of his movements. Here, he's able to use the fear defenses have of him going deep once again to stop on a dime and then accelerate horizontally for more yards after catch. Against Ole Miss, he's once again able to show his elite agility as he stops on a dime, jukes out the defender in the middle of the field, and uses his blocking to gain a couple more yards down the right sideline. Oh, did I not mention that he's also a threat in the run game? As if he wasn't dangerous enough after the catch, he's also a dangerous runner. Malik Nabers is the most dangerous receiver in the draft, and he is a walking touchdown from any point of the field. Now that we've looked at film, let's talk about his projected role in the NFL. He projects to be a #1 target due to his sheer ability and draft capital at being 6th overall. He does, however, unlike Marvin Harrison, project to mostly be an off-the-ball receiver. What I mean by this is he projects to be a Z or Y receiver. So, in 11 personnel as shown on the screen, a Z receiver is off the line of scrimmage to the right. This is so that he can get a free release and can't be pressed in press man coverage. It's not that he can't beat press man, it's just that he's better when he doesn't need to. He's also going to be an elite slot receiver, so he has positional versatility across the field. He's going to be able to be schemed open, and when he has open field, he is gone for a touchdown every single time. Looking at Malik Nabers' route chart, courtesy of Matt Harmon from Reception Perception, please give him a follow. He's amazing at tracking wide receiver data. Malik Nabers, if you look on the left, that shows his route percentage. So, he doesn't run as many 9 corner and post routes or slants, screen, and flats. He primarily works over the middle of the field with out routes, in routes, curls. But he's a decently well-rounded enough wide receiver. However, if you look on the right at his success by route, this is where he's the real deal. He's successful in all but 3 of the routes. The only routes he's below average in are corner routes, comeback routes, and post routes, which he doesn't run quite as many of. Every single other route is in bright green. That means he's above average in all of those. This guy is an explosive athlete that can work at all 3 levels of the field and is as dangerous as they come after the catch. Looking at some stats from Malik Nabers, Pro Football Focus gave him a 91.8 grade, which was 2nd in the class. His pass rating when targeted was 125.7, which was 12th in the class. He had 2,585 receiving yards, which was 2nd in the class for his career. He had 17 receiving touchdowns, which was tied for 8th. His yards per route run was 3.06, which was 4th in the class. He had 16.1 yards per reception, which was 20th in the class, and a 27% targets per route run rate, which was 21st in the class for his career. But it's important to remember that at first he was behind Kayshon Boutte and Brian Thomas. Looking at Malik Nabers, he received 6th overall draft capital in the 1st round. If we look at the historical data here, he has a 20.51% chance at a top 5 season, a 34.62 chance at a top 12 season, and a 48.72 chance at a top 24 season. Now this isn't taking into account that he received 6th overall draft capital, let alone just regular first round capital. Malik Nabers has a fantastic opportunity ahead of him because historically receivers picked in the top 10 especially have fantastic hit rates. So, looking at their depth chart, you might notice something. He's the only one listed here. That essentially surmises how much talent they have. He is their weapon, he's going to be fed, he's going to be schemed open, and he's going to be given as much workload as he can handle. He is the only weapon there, and the only person on offense that the defense is going to have to worry about in any way, shape, or form. He's the centerpiece of the offense and is going to be used interchangeably in the Z and Y position. He may receive some work from the X, but I would expect him to work on his releases before he's given that opportunity. Moving forward to Dynasty rankings. As I stated in the last video, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are in their own tier in my opinion, in the top tier. The elite of the elite. In the next tier, I have Jamar Chase and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They are in the second tier. They are still elite receivers, I just like the consistency and total upside of the first two a little bit more. Then, as I said in the last video, Marvin Harrison Jr. I consider to be in his own tier at 5th overall. So getting into where Malik Nabers resides. As I said in the last video, Garrett Wilson and Puka Nacua are in their own tier in tier 4 in my opinion. Garrett Wilson receives the quarterback upgrade of Aaron Rodgers. He was already elite, but finally somebody's going to be able to get him the ball. And Puka Nacua is also in this tier after a record-breaking rookie season in which he broke the NFL rookie record for catches and yards. Just under this tier is where I have Malik Nabers and A.J. Brown. Malik Nabers is going to be the only option in the offense worth guarding. The only problem is his quarterback Daniel Jones is not the best. It's going to be a challenge at times, I'd imagine, for him to get Malik Nabers the ball, but being as he's the only weapon and he's so explosive, if he can just get the ball a couple times a game, he's going to be fine. He's going to be the centerpiece of the offense, moved all around, and is going to be constantly schemed the ball. A.J. Brown's also in this tier. He's just a lower because of his age, and I project them all to score relatively the same points, it's just they're all a lot younger than him. Looking at who I have just under Malik Nabers, I consider Tyreek Hill, Drake London, and Rome Odunze to be in their own tier. I then consider Chris Olave to also be in his own tier. So Tyreek Hill was the wide receiver 1 this past year, but it's due to his advanced age. He's approaching 30. He's just not going to be in the league quite as long, so that's why I have him bumped down just a little bit. Drake London is finally going to get good quarterback play in Atlanta. He's suffered with Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, and Taylor Heineke, as well as his coach Arthur Smith, who's gone as well. It's time for him to take off. Also in this tier, I have our third rookie, Rome Odunze. Rome would be much higher if he wasn't in a situation where there are already elite wide receivers there. He's incredibly talented, it's just going to take him a second to be the official wide receiver 1. Chris Olave has shown consistent wide receiver 2 production, and I'd like to see him take a step up, but seeing as he's younger, I still consider him this high. So, looking at rookie Superflex ADP derived from late May, it looks as though Malik Nabers is going at pick 3. In a 10-team league, I could take him as high as 102, but I would prefer to take him in 103 and 104. It's really just dependent on your team need and whether or not you can trade down for value while still getting him. He is a talent that I would not want to miss for anything in a rookie draft. In a 12-team league, I would probably not take him before Caleb Williams under any circumstances due to QB scarcity. There's only 32 starters, and teams generally want to have 3 quarterbacks, and there's not 36 starters, so I couldn't really justify that. But if you don't believe in Jaden Daniels, it's an absolute valid thing to take Malik Nabers if you do believe in the talent. He is as explosive as it gets, and just about as sure of a thing as I could imagine at wide receiver. So today we finished our second installment of the Prospect Profile series for the 2024 rookie class in Malik Nabers. He is a dynamic wide receiver that is going to be schemed the ball in all kinds of situations and force-fed the football. Avoid him at your own risk in fantasy drafts, and if you do get a chance to take him, do it. So with that being said, I'm the Dynasty Football Strategist. Do you agree with anything, disagree with anything? Please let me know in the comment section. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.